Alright guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to make a simple steelhead fillet video. I've been down at the river the last few days and people have been asking me if I know how to fillet steelhead and why I don't make a video on it. So I'm going to warn you guys, I'm definitely not a pro, but I mean I would say I get a relatively clean spine when I fillet these fish. So figured I'd make a quick video today. Definitely two of the biggest knives that I always recommend having would be like a 10-inch blade. This is a Gerber fillet knife. And then one of my favorites is a Strong 7-inch boning knife. I love this guy here. And then I also have this 7-inch Cast King fillet knife as well. So we're going to be running through this real quick. We're going to be filleting this little hen here. Had a pretty decent morning. Just float fishing for these steelhead and ended up keeping two. So we're probably going to fillet this little girl since she's pretty small and easy to fillet. So and then if I'm feeling up for it, I might show you the butterfly method for this big buck here. This is a method that a lot of people like to do when they're going to smoke the steelhead. That way it keeps this nice belly meat on there as well, because that looks really good when it comes out of the smoker. So let's get right into this. I'm going to pull these off the table, and then I'm just going to bring this little hen up here and start filleting for you guys. Okay, so first and foremost, one of the most important things that you have to do before you even get to this point is definitely bleeding your fish. As you can tell, I plucked the gills on this hen the second I caught her, and I ran my fingers down her upper back like this to push all of that blood out of the meat. You definitely don't want bloody meat. It's going to affect the taste of it and how dirty it is when you're going to fillet it. And don't mind my chickens, they're just making noise around me here. So what we're going to start off with is this 10-inch Gerber knife. We're going to make an incision right under this pectoral fin. We're going to come at a 45-degree angle and cut down just like that. And once you get down to this point, you should feel her spine. At that point, you're going to want to turn your knife and run it flush against the spine, and then you're just going to cut down along the spine, and you should hear that kind of grinding noise. Those are her bones on her back, and you know you're right along that bone. So she does have eggs, but as you can see just from that one incision, you have that whole fillet right there. So once you get to this point, all you're going to do is run your blade all the way down, and there is one perfect steelhead fillet. And I'll show you guys how to get these pin bones out. It's not like Kings and Coho where you can kind of grab some pliers and pull these pin bones out. They're very small and fragile, so they'll pretty much end up snapping on you. So what I like to do is I'll cut this fillet twice in the long way. So let me get the other half gone here, and then I'll show you the next step. Alright, so we're going to flip her over. We're going to do the same thing on this side. You always want a nice clean knife. You don't want to hurt yourself. And you can see that there's still a little bit of blood on here, just around the top of the fish's head here, but it's nothing major. So we're going to do the same thing here, 45 degrees, little incision. Once we hit that spine, tilt that knife and let the knife do the work. You want to be feeling that spine the whole way down. And the opposite side, like the second side you do, it's always a little bit tougher because it's not as even since the other half of that fillet is gone. So just do your best and take your time. And you're just going to run it to the back, and there you have it. Another fillet from that steelhead. So there's two perfect fillets. There are some eggs here as well. So what I'm going to do now is just kind of do a small incision here, finish ripping up these ribs. Let me grab my smaller knife for this. On this one, I'm just going to tear through the bottom of that fish, just like that. I'm going to pull these little steelhead eggs out. These will fish perfect. These will definitely catch me some fish, and they will not go to waste. Keeping fish, guys, is all about minimizing waste, you know, especially with such a gorgeous fish like a steelhead or a salmon. You definitely don't want to be wasteful with these things. So that is the main part of the steelhead. So relatively clean job. Like I said, I'm not a pro, but this right here is no use to me. Actually, I take that back. I will be keeping the belly. So this part right here is one of the most delicious parts. You can ask any steelhead fisherman. This belly piece right here is just delicious when it comes out of that smoker. So I will be smoking one of these fish, so I'll throw that belly piece in there. This part right here is delicious. So I'm gonna get rid of this. Get rid of that fillet. Clean this up a little bit. So let me clean this up real quick and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so now we have our two main fillets. The first thing I'm going to do is these parts right here still have the rib bones. On this other fillet I did pretty decent job of getting those rib bones out, but these other ones, very easy. Just keep your knife running up towards the bones, and you can see the knife through the flesh there. You want it to be very thin. You don't want to waste any of this delicious meat. So there's the rib bones. So now this is perfect, no rib bones on it, just those pin bones left. And then we're going to do the same thing on this one. Just small little incisions, and you're just running that knife. And like I said, this is where you want a really nice and sharp knife. I'm barely putting any pressure on this, just letting the knife do the work. And that knife should cut this just like butter. One little guy left here. Perfect. So this right here, a lot of people will smoke it just like this. They won't even bother with the pin bones. But I've looked up a lot of videos on how to get 100% boneless steelhead fillet. I haven't really seen many, so I guess I'll go this extra step here for you guys. The next thing I like to do is take the skin off. I don't like having the skin on my fish. So I'm going to leave a little bit of a nub here so I can still hold on to the fish. I'm going to make an incision. Then once I get close to that skin, I'm just going to keep the knife parallel with the skin of the fish. And I'm just going to run that knife very gently back and forth all the way across my fillet. And like I said, I'm barely putting any pressure on this knife. I'm just moving it back and forth and letting the knife do the work. So there's your skin. There's your beautiful meat. Take that off. And then you're left with a perfectly skinless fillet. So the next part here is the very last step. You have these pin bones that run across the top here of the steelhead. So you're going to essentially end up with one long fillet here, and then these are just going to be small little sections. So back to this part up here, the bones will run from about here to about 3/4 of the way of the fillet. So right here I can just take my knife, make a small cut, and this is perfectly boneless. We're all set with this. We just need to dice it up and make it just a nice little fillet portions there. So that is ready to grill. On this one here, you got the pin bones you just want to feel where they are and where they kind of curve. So we want to save as much meat as we can. And this is that long little loin. You can smoke this, put some honey and glaze on it, throw it right on the smoker. This will eat up really good. And then this last section here, you're just going to take off those little bones and you're going to have another perfectly boneless fillet. Perfect. This has the pin bones in it. If you really wanted to, you can grab a spoon and save some of the meat on this. But I'm not going to do that today. This is perfectly boneless. All I'm going to do is just clean this up a little bit. And there you have it. I'm going to dice this up. And these are some perfect boneless fillets. Can't really beat this, guys. You got the whole fish. You're not wasting anything. And that is 100% boneless, ready to grill up. So once again, this guy is cleaned up. No rib bones. We're just going to take that skin off. Perfect. Oh, I did leave some skin on this guy. Not a big deal. Just go at it from the other end. This part on the with the other fish, I'm definitely going to use my longer blade. I should have probably done that for this guy too, but oh well. Still works out. There's your skin. We're going to do the same thing. Like butter. This one's good to go. This guy's good to go. A little breezy out here. Pin bones are gone, and you have your other perfect little loin. So that's it, guys. Like I said, I'm definitely not a pro, not even close, but I think this is a pretty good job. Kept most of the meat on there. It's completely boneless. Perfect little fillets ready for the grill. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe. Like I said, this is just a Cast King knife, 7-inch. I have a Del Strong knife, another 7-inch blade here, and then my 10-inch Gerber knife that I like to use for those big cuts. So all the information will be down below, guys. Thanks for watching.